Hey, you've been saying this since his arrest in late 2024. Free Diddy.
Me and Kanye.
Free Diddy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna throw one more guy in there. You, Kanye, and
Not Kanye. Oh yeah, me, Kanye, and Lil Boosie.
okay, Lil Boosie, and then there was Stevie J. Stevie
Oh,
J
okay,
was
okay.
very pro Diddy.
Right.
He was very pro Diddy. I don't think he didn't say free Diddy, but he was pro Diddy. I never seen any of that stuff. The Diddy I know, that ain't him. You know, he was very pro Diddy. So we gotta throw Stevie J in there.
Okay.
You know, Stevie J was willing to defend Diddy. So we got Diddy, Boosie, Munchie, and Kanye.
Right.
But even though he was acquitted of the three most serious charges,
Well, I thought it was 4 he was acquitted of, and there was 1.
he got found guilty of the two Mann Acts.
Okay.
The two Mann Acts, which is basically transporting a sex worker across state lines. Let me get the exact federal Let me get the exact federal definition of the Mann Act. The Mann Act, also known as the White Slave Traffic Act, is a U.S. federal law passed in 1910. It prohibits the transportation of individuals across state lines or international borders for prostitution or debauchery or for any other immoral purpose. The law was initially intended to combat forced prostitution and human trafficking, but has been used in various ways throughout history, including targeting consensual sexual activity. So it's an archaic law that's still on the books that doesn't allow you to.
I'm confused. They said state lines are international.
Yeah, like if you Canada or Mexico. So let's say you're in Mexico, you're in Tijuana, and you meet a prostitute.
But that's what it said, international, right?
Yeah, it did say international. So,
but hold on. But none of the sex workers was transported state to state. Every sex worker came from that state. Miami, New York, L.A.
No, they produced plane tickets and travel evidence of, like, for example, the Punisher dude going from either L.A. to Miami or New York to Miami.
You sure?
100%. That's why he was convicted of it. They spoke to one of the jurors. The juror said that the evidence of that was overwhelming because they produced the plane tickets, and they had the text messages from Diddy's assistants that was doing all the travel arrangement. So yeah, the Punisher dude went from one state to another state, and there was another person that I can't remember the other. So that was the crime.
RICO, the Punisher, then the other one that people need to talk about but don't. Yeah, man, that shit crazy.
But it's good for Diddy to a certain extent because he was only found guilty of the least serious charge.
Right.
2 counts of that. But if the judge wants to be funny, or if the prosecution, the prosecution's pissed that they lost on the RICO, they're going to request from the judge a more stiffer sentence because of the violence. And that's certainly possible. That they can say that his history of violence in this trial suggests that you should sentence Diddy to a longer sentence. So we have no idea what he's going to be sentenced to. I'll go through the possible sentences, but I think I have a clip here. Do I have a Diddy clip? Let me play this Diddy clip about sentencing. Here we go.
Hearing unexpectedly adjourned following the conviction of Sean Diddy Combs last week. In fact, defense attorneys and federal prosecutors initially agreed to a September 22nd sentencing date for Combs. This is ahead of a remote hearing that was set for this afternoon. But shortly before the hearing, attorneys for both sides sent a joint letter to the judge saying that they had agreed to the original proposed sentencing date of October 3rd. Combs was acquitted of racketeering, conspiracy, and sex trafficking, but convicted on 2 counts of prostitution-related charges. He faces a maximum sentence of 20 years in prison on those counts. And our ABC News chief investigative correspondent Aaron Katursky has the latest.
Okay, now Sean Combs is going to be sentenced this fall after he was convicted of 2 counts of prostitution-related charges that together carry a maximum prison term of up to 20 years. He is unlikely to get that much, but federal prosecutors are expected to ask for at least 5 years. Combs will receive credit for time served, which will subtract about a year from the ultimate sentence. His acquittal on sex trafficking and racketeering conspiracy charges took away the possibility of life in prison for Combs, who's preparing to ask for leniency. The defense has already argued Combs has taken steps to address what the judge called a propensity for violence, as seen on 2016 hotel security camera footage. And his attorney said Combs began a batterers program in New York prior to his arrest. The defense has also argued Combs did not make money from prostitution, but rather was the primary client of the male escorts he was convicted of transporting. His attorneys were prepared to ask for an expedited sentencing. They backed off that at the last minute, and so the judge has set Sean Combs' sentencing for October 3rd.
There we go. October 3rd, he'll be sentenced. Now, check this out. The Mann Act, the maximum on the Mann Act is 10 years. He got 2 Mann Act charges. So if you run that
Concurrent.
if you run it consecutively, that's where they get to 20.
Yeah.
That ain't gonna happen.
He's running concurrent.
If he does get the 10 years, they're gonna run it concurrent. That's his max 10, not 20. But his real sentence should be, according to the federal guidelines. Now, when I had FG on Streets and Scholars, FG told me about a chart that gives you the sentencing for different convictions, and it also is based on your history. And based on your history, you get a certain amount of points.
He don't got no history.
So he has 0. He's in the 0 to 1 point category. So he doesn't have a significant history. His criminal history should be 0. So based on the criminal history of being 0, the minimum is 15 months. The maximum is 63 months. I'm guessing that the prosecution is going to ask for that 63 months. Based on that news clip, the guy said 5 years. 5 years is 60 months. So he's going to get somewhere around that 63 months.
Well, Tony Busby, he predicted he'd do. He said it nonchalantly. He'd do between 2 and 4 years. Like
On this Mann Act?
this what Tony Busby this is his prediction.
Okay, that sounds about possible, because let's say he gets 60 months. Let's make it even. 60 months is 5 years. You do 85% of that. That means he's going to do 4 years. He's already been in. By the time he gets sentenced in October, he'll be been in there for 1 year. So he'll be out in 3. He'll be out in 2028.
That ain't bad, man.
That ain't bad from facing a RICO, right? To get out. And you notice it's crazy, since from Young Thug to Mad Ronald to Diddy, all these overcharges of cases where everyone was facing life. All of these people were facing life are coming home in just a couple of years.
Man, that girl is not a victim, man. I'm gonna keep saying it, bro. And I hate to be that way since I got 2 daughters, man. But Cassie ain't no victim. That's toe up.
Well, the 2 Mann Acts aren't even about Cassie. It's just about transporting
The workers.
prostitutes. Yeah, getting the prostitute to pull up.
I'll be hot. Don't call me no prostitute. I'll be hot as hell. I guess is what they is, right? Hey, that shit is funny.
Who, the Punisher?
The Punisher and RICO and
I mean, the Punisher.
Howard.
Hey, the Punisher been giving some interesting interviews lately, and he's been embracing what he was.
No. The Punisher and RICO is very transparent.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say that.
I haven't seen any RICO interviews.
Yeah, RICO. Yeah, I peeped RICO and the Punisher.
What's the chances that the lawyers are able to file some mitigating circumstances to the judge and try to convince the judge to give Diddy that 15 months? 15, let's say the range is 15 to 21 months.
If anybody could do it, Brian Steele could do it.
Brian Steele.
He a beast.
And look, if he ends up getting the 15 to 21 months, he walks out of jail in October.
Hey,
He walks out of jail in
I
October.
googled Brian Steele net worth, bro. If I can remember right, was it 60 million or 600 million? No, it had to be 60.
Yeah, it's probably 60 million.
Bro, man, that dude getting chilly.
Yeah.
He getting chilly, man. He got to be the best attorney in America. Brian Steele.
If Brian Steele can do it, I would be impressed if Diddy walks out of there with a 15 to 20 month sentence.
Man, if he do that, man, he might as well just retire, man. Retire on top, man.
Nah, once he's done with this case, he's got cases pouring in.
Man, bro, but these cases, you got to study around the clock. You don't get a break. That's what I'm saying. You don't want to go home and kick off your hour. How old is Brian Steele?
He's not.
If he over 50, retire, bro.
Yeah, he probably is. But no, you know what the passion that these lawyers have for working.
I can imagine they get a rush.
Yeah.
Right.
Let me see what his age is.
Tony Busby, whatever, you a bum.
He's 61. Brian Steele.
Retire, big bro. Retire, big bro. You done did it, man. You legendary.
Nah, he's hit his groove these last few years. This is the most success he's ever had as an attorney. Why stop now?
Man, you right.
You got so many clients now that want you. You know, I even think Big U should consider hiring Brian Steele with some of that.
Can't afford him.
I was gonna say with some of that San Diego Charger money.